Michigan head basketball coach Dustin May, as many refer to him as Dusty May, recently went on. I want to make sure I get this podcast right. It's the Burning Sage podcast. So shout out to the Burning Sage podcast. But May had a bunch of quotes, kind of talking about his team, his roster, a lot of things about where Michigan basketball is going. But there's one part that stuck out to me that I wanted to talk about with you that I thought was honestly a very correct statement, and also just a an idea into or an insight into like what Dusty May's approach to this was. So he was talking about like NIL, right? Obviously, and talking about money and things like that. And he said, there's a lot of people speculating what everyone has, and some of it is close, some of it's way off. But I'm quite certain we were out of 18 teams in the Big Ten last year, we were bottom five, and I'm quite certain we'll be in the top five this year, kind of pointing to the fact that there's a lot more funds that are going to be available for this year's team, given obviously you look at the roster, that makes a lot of sense. So he said, so we went from being, like I said, the Royals to the team that should be in the ballpark of the Dodgers and the Yankees. So for the people who don't really know baseball, Dodgers, Yankees, richest teams in baseball, Kansas City Royals, not rich team in baseball. So kind of just pointing out that they're saying they're the big dogs. They got a lot of money, right? And they're kind of going to be spending it. And I'll throw it to you first before I talk about some of the other quotes on this one. And what do you take from Dusty? Kind of just being upfront about this, that like last year they were poor. This year we're not rocking. We're not poor.
Well, Cart, like the Yankees and Dodgers rivals don't really spend money. The Red Sox are salary cutting. I guess the Padres are spending money, but they did move off some guys this offseason. You think he was making a shot at Michigan State here at all with these comments?
You know what? I feel like it might be in there somewhere, especially because like he could have just said Yankees one. He threw in Dodgers in there. Jonathan Smith had the Dodgers thing last year. I feel like if I know that Dusty May is a psycho dickhead, like I think he is, and I say dickhead endearingly, by the way, got to get that out there right away because eventually one day someone's going to hit us up and be like, "Why'd you call me a dickhead?" And I'll be like, "Brother, I'm a dickhead. Like I did." You know what I'm saying? I got nothing, but actually, let me move on before I say something pause worthy. But go, Dion, I want to throw it to you first before I start rambling more.
Honestly, I like it. I think if you're going to spend money, I've always said this, like, why were coaches so like upset when figures got out about how much they were paying a player? If you're going to pay for your team, I want everyone to know I did it. Like I want if I'm BYU, I want everyone to know exactly how much money AJ Advance is getting this year because they're going to look at it and be like, "Oh, I want to talk to them. I want to know how much money they would pay me. If I'm a recruit that Michigan is like potentially like trying to like has interest in, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, well, where do I want to go? Do I want to go to Michigan? Do I want to go to Kentucky, Duke, um, so on and so forth? I think naturally you'd rather go to those blue bloods, right? The Yukons of the world as well. But if Michigan's spending money more than them, that opens up doors for everybody. So I think this is a smart move on Dusty's part to like kind of get it out there. Like, yeah, I know typically you'd rather go here, but hey, we're the ones actually spending money here. Some of these blue bloods aren't the ones spending money.
Yeah, and look, I think that Dusty May, he went on to speak about like how he feels like the CEO of the program, right? Like he wants to get in front of people, he wants to fundraise. He was talking about like how he was like studying, he read books, he read on tech companies in Silicon Valley, like people that invest in CEOs, they believe in the CEO. So basically, like he was doing like a lot of groundwork, and this was like back at the FAU times of like how to fundraise money because they went to a Final Four at FAU and they didn't have like any money or anything like that. So he realized that he had to do that. And I don't know, it kind of points to the fact that new style basketball coaches, like the new age of basketball coaches, you gotta be able to do so much more than coach, right? Like you, or if you're not gonna be do so, you gotta have someone on your staff that is really good at the other side of it. And what you're seeing here is, to Dusty May's credit, he's kind of got a CEO feel to him, right? Like he has the ability to make a lot of money and do, raise a lot of money and put together a really good roster. Now, it all comes down to like what do you do with it, right? Like you can have I've seen MLB big money rosters flame out, right? That can definitely happen. But to his point, he's setting his team up in a good spot, I think, by the way he fundraises and the way he approaches NIL.
This video is brought to you by NBA 2KLab.com. 2K Lab worked with us last summer as well. They're one of our favorite entities in all of sports gaming. We want to show you their college basketball stadium locator challenge game. And I'm going to share a screen right now as we do this. South Carolina, bang. Oh,
Ooh,
okay, that's pretty good. Next, North Carolina. Why are we only getting the Carolinas?
please
Bang.
lock in.
St. John's, that's New
New
York.
York.
Bang.
Where's New Jersey?
We're on fire. Colorado. I actually don't know what state Colorado is.
It's in Colorado. There's a state of
Is that
Colorado.
this one?
It's to the right of Phoenix.
Anyway, you get the picture. This game's really fun. They've got more games as well, like Guess the NBA Player, Mystery Fantasy Draft, and more. Stay tuned for all of the college football content and games that they'll be putting together to help you get the best experience out of college football 26. Back to the video.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's also that element of like look, I'll use the Dodgers as the example because he did. When they first started spending money, they weren't necessarily spending it on the right guys. You know what I mean? Like, you very easily can spend money on the wrong players. Like an Elliot Cadeau, for example, would be a great example of that. But you grow into signing your Shohei Ohtani, which I mean he might already have in Yaxel, you know what I mean? But I think overall, like the more you spend money, the more opportunities you give yourself. In college basketball, professional basketball, sports in general, it's just about giving yourself chances. If you have 20 chances at this thing, it's likely that one hits. But if you only give yourself one chance based upon the way you go about like recruiting and everything like that, then that puts a ton of pressure on yourself. But what Dusty's saying is like, yeah, we spent a lot this year. Yeah, I got Yaxa with me. Yeah, I got Elliott. I got Merez. I got Ade Mara, so on and so forth. But I ain't going nowhere. Like I got all this money. I'm gonna keep spending it. And gonna keep giving myself the chance at this national title.
Yeah, and look, you gotta put yourself in a spot to do so. I will say this though. Dusty talks a big game, right? Dusty talks a big game and he spends a lot of money. That's all good and well. I understand that and it is what it is. But like I said, money doesn't always get you anything, right? I will say this, in the last 20 years, how many World Series do the Dodgers have?
I mean, they won two of the last, what, four?
No, I don't think so.
They literally won last year,
They won last year. That was it.
2020, too. They won the COVID year.
All right. So thank y'all for tuning in today. No, actually, my point still stands though. So they got two World Series in the last, we'll see, 20 years.
5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But also
Dodgers.
two of the last five. It depends on how you frame it.
No. Let's do last 20 years. So they have two in the last 20. The Yankees had two in the last 20, with one being in 2009. The Royals won in 2015.
Royals also got smoked by my Giants in 2014.
Listen, once again, pointing out things I'm not here to talk about. Listen, you got a lot of money. Go make it happen. I'm glad that you can tote that. That is something that you should, wear as a badge of honor. But also, like that badge of honor will be thrown right back in your little face if you're losing basketball games.
So just so I'm aware, your argument is that one team won one and Dusty's comparisons have four?
Yeah, I ain't got much ground to stand on here, Dion. I ain't got much to stand on here. I love this approach by Dusty. I don't like my operating well, with all due respect. But no, the main takeaway for me from this though is that I think this is how you need to operate as a coach in today's day and age, and Dusty's doing that. Um, and yes, I wish my school was acting that way as well, but my school is also hanging banners and beat Dusty twice last season, uh, handedly, I might add.
Dusty got a banner too.
That fake ass banner. That banner's only hanging in Greg's office. All right. So, anyways, shout out to Dusty, shout out to Dustin May, the fundraising, bike riding Michigan head basketball coach.